Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Salon for All and Voice for All Network Television. I am your host, Khadija Tijan Nabi. As in, I know today we'll get a wonderful, exclusive interview with Barrister, Lawyer, Honorable Kalokoh. Will they come right back? In the meantime, share for notify all the folks them, and will they come back to today's interview. And I welcome once again, and I thank you. Welcome to Salon for All and Voice for All Network Television. Okay, and I welcome once again. Sorry for that. Will they come right back? And I feel free for continue for share. Will they come right back? And I thank you. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Salon for All and Voice for All Network Television, where every voice matters. I am your host, Khadija Tijan Nabi. Always ready and determined to bring you current events from home and abroad. What to expect, wide focus or range of topics from political, family, relationship, empowerment, breaking news, both local and international, emergency topics, entertainment, both local and international, comedy, event affecting our various communities, political debate, educational session, exclusive interview with either local or international celebrities or high profile, showcasing up-and-coming artists, entrepreneurs, philanthropists. If it is happening, we're here to be that voice and the network to show it. If you have a story, let's share it, build it, and show it. Let us be your voice. Stay tuned to Salon for All and Voice for All Network Television for more. Do not forget to subscribe to our Facebook page, our YouTube page, our Instagram page, and our Twitter page. And also feel free to visit our website. We thank you all for being part of the Salon for All Network family.
So leadership qualities in the home. So ladies and gentlemen, it is with honor and pride that I hand the mic over to our distinguished gentleman for tonight, Bakarr Kalokoh.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to everybody for making it here tonight. It is because of love for our country that you have thought it fit to come here and have a conversation about Sierra Leone. I applaud you for that. I thank the team, the Kalokoh movement here, for putting together this very, very wonderful family gathering. It is unbelievable that we have come this far. And let me also take this opportunity to thank my wife and my family. Without them, this would have been impossible. This journey would not have come this far. Her support is as solid as a rock, and I deeply appreciate it. And let me also thank the executive of the Kalokoh movement in the United States for taking the time to put this together and work with me in making sure our movement becomes fruitful. I am, of course, elated to be given the privilege of spending some time with this very special family of forward-thinking Sierra Leoneans tonight. Now, this occasion will be remembered as a celebration of our fraternity. So we're pulled together by the magnetic forces of hope and unity. We are here because of the firm belief that a brighter day lies ahead of our country, even as we tread through a very rough economic trajectory. Just over a decade ago, our leaders signed a historic and symbolic peace accord, an emblem of solidarity which preceded the peace and tranquility we're enjoying today. That momentous declaration and waving of the olive branch came as a great beacon of hope to millions of Sierra Leoneans who had been wearied by the spate of unending violence and pandemonium. It came as a joyous dawn, signaling the end of a long night of horror. But 12 years later, we must face the tragic fact that many Sierra Leoneans still don't get it. 12 years later, the lives of many Sierra Leoneans are still sadly mired by shackles of hatred and bound by chains of disunity. 12 years later, many Sierra Leoneans relish a life of loneliness in an island of anger, though surrounded by a vast ocean of love and empathy. 12 years later, many Sierra Leoneans are still languishing in despondency, fired by an extreme sense of entitlement, yet doing very little to improve the status quo. And here we are, estranged from our own land. Isn't it sad? Very sad. So the Kalokoh movement is here tonight to sensationalize this very awful condition of our being. We're here to talk about our reality. In a sense, our movement has come to the United Kingdom to have a family chat. When the world brought us together and our leaders appended their signatures to the historic peace accord, they were designing a path for our country which every Sierra Leonean must traverse as the surest passageway to prosperity. This document was a promise that all Sierra Leoneans will be guaranteed the right to live free of violence and avail themselves of the benefits of liberty and the pursuit of happiness. But this quest for life, liberty, and happiness does come with obligations and responsibilities for every citizen. We are responsible for bonding together and forging a path to the future. As we followed President Kaba in the march towards peace, so must we follow President Ernest Bai Koroma in the path toward progress and prosperity. I am a proud member of the APC. Others are proud members of the SLPP. Others are proud members of the PMDC and other parties. But tonight, we're here as Sierra Leoneans. Back then, when we signed the peace accord, we had agreed that we will stand behind our leaders as they blaze the trail for us. It is obvious today, however, that many of us have defaulted on this solemn undertaking. No doubt, our commitment to cooperate and work together is quivering, ladies and gentlemen. It is fragile. It is weakening. Instead of honoring our sacred pledge, Sierra Leoneans have gone back to division, disunity, and blistering disagreement. But one thing I believe in, the Kalokoh movement refuses to believe that the reservoir of cooperation has suddenly run dry and our collective investment has gone bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there is insufficient goodwill amongst us, despite the great vaults of camaraderie our forefathers left for us. So we have come to the United Kingdom to drive the message home. A message and bound by chains of disunity. 12 years later, many Sierra Leoneans relish a life of loneliness in an island of anger, though surrounded by a vast ocean of love and empathy. 12 years later, many Sierra Leoneans are still languishing in despondency, fired by an extreme sense of entitlement, yet doing very little to improve the status quo. And here we are, estranged from our own land. Isn't it sad?
Very sad.
So the Kalokoh movement is here tonight to sensationalize this very awful condition of our being. We're here to talk about our reality. In a sense, our movement has come to the United Kingdom to have a family chat. When the world brought us together and our leaders appended their signatures to the historic peace accord, they were designing a path for a country which every Sierra Leonean must traverse as the surest passageway to prosperity. This document was a promise that all Sierra Leoneans will be guaranteed the right to live free of violence and avail themselves of the benefits of liberty and the pursuit of happiness. But this quest for life, liberty, and happiness does come with obligations and responsibilities.
All the long-standing problems still entrenched in our society, we have added another problem, which is making things even worse, which is taking us backwards and not forward. And what is that? It is the seeming policy of division and exclusion, marginalization of a certain group. That is not good for business. The political instability and tension is not encouraging investment. Division on tribal lines does not consolidate peace. It perpetuates resentment. Now, yesterday, in the opening statement of our leaders, we were inspired in so many ways that we saw that our leaders, for the first time, admitting to faults and willing to take responsibility. But we also see that there is a big gap between rhetoric and reality. We are preaching peace, yet we are undermining those institutions that foster peace. We can give countless examples, but I don't want to bore you right now with examples. Let me just mention a few. You cannot preach peace and you're sacking people who are guaranteed with security of tenure under the Constitution and the statute. You cannot preach peace and you impose a speaker on parliament against the majority party in parliament. We cannot preach peace when it seems like appointments are being done on tribal lines. We cannot teach priests when we are depriving access to justice of the hearing of political cases by opposition or otherwise, and even by the Sierra Leone Bar Association.
Patriotism isn't about our leaders. It's not about the political parties that we love. It's about the love, pride, and dignity of our nation. In 1999, I made a documentary film called Cry Freetown about the bloody civil war of my country, Sierra Leone. Somehow, the film attracted the attention of the international community, and they came to our aid and helped us restore peace. A few years down the line, I made another documentary film called Return to Rwanda, which shows what happened when a nation turns on itself. Hutus versus Tutsis. Very, very bloody civil war. And today, 2018, my country, Sierra Leone, is blindly strolling towards tribal war. My brothers and sisters, let me tell you, that will be a big mistake. It will be worse than the bloody civil war we had. And let me tell you this, no politician, no political party is worth you shedding your blood for. Yes, you can fight for your country, but not for politicians or for political parties. Put Sierra Leone first. If anything goes wrong, it's not the politicians or their loved ones that will pay the price. So I want you to think, fellow Sierra Leoneans, as we are having this mounting tension, these growing tensions, I want you to think that whether you are Mendi, Timini, Limba, Creole, Madingo, Kuranko, Fula, Yalonka, whatever you are, it's Sierra Leone first. They don't say what tribe, they say what country. Let's think and put Sierra Leone first. Please, my fellow Sierra Leoneans, we might have been lucky when I made Cry Freetown and we got support. We might not be so lucky. So let's don't go down that road. Don't let the politicians play you. For some of them, this is a game. Now it's time you take control of the game. You play them. You make your choice. You choose wisely, but don't fight each other. Let us be our brother's keeper. Thank you.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Salon for All and Voice for All Network Television. I am your host, Khadija Tijan Nabi. It is an honor to have with us tonight Honorable Barrister at Law, Lawyer Bakarr Kalokoh, former lecturer, University of Sierra Leone, Faculty of Law to be precise, and former flag bearer aspirant for the All People's Congress political party. Once again, welcome, sir. Kindly take this opportunity for introduce yourself and say a little bit, one or two things about yourself. Welcome. Check your device, sir. It seems like you're on mute.
Okay, all right. Family house would all kushe. This now would brother, fellow citizen, lawyer Bakarr Kalokoh. I just say most of una do hear a few times where they say something about issues where they affect your country. I'm glad you for that today.
Will they take a quick break? Will they come right back? Thank you. Welcome to Salon for All. And I welcome once again, and I forgive you for the interruption. Well, make yourself at home, Honorable Lawyer. We get a lot for discuss today, but the very first thing where I want to start with, I want to talk about. Well, I want also suggest that we use a bilingual approach, meaning that we go able to accommodate, that mamina mile 91 for they go understand some of the things that where we did discuss today. At the same time, some of the we audience then we not necessarily be Sierra Leonean. I don't know if you're okay with that, sir.
I am, definitely.
Wonderful, thank you. So let me start with bipartisan. How best has your political party used bipartisan approach? Can you also provide us with example to back up your claims?
Yes. Listen. I think.
Sorry, sir. It seemed like you faced the cut off.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it seemed like you move it back again, so you're a bit cut off from the top. So if you can
So,
bring it down a little, it'll be great. Thank you.
okay.
Sorry about that.
Is this okay down this way?
As you
Or
talk, then I'll go able to find out. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Okay. All right. You can go ahead, sir. I will let you know if we need any further adjustment. But I think,
Okay.
yeah. I
So-
think. Let's see. All right. Go ahead, sir.
So I'm gonna try for say that I think over the years we use political party so
So what will they do not give you time for the adjust them, yeah? Will they come right back? And I thank you for your patience. Make again as some entertainment first.
The foreign broadcasting service presents the professional in Dan Brokaw.
What Commander do? This now better use Commander do. Johnny Wright married to Olai Kaseke. Lord Didi, you blancy married like that. I mean, the thoughtful tete is full to nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. The people that sweat that the thought tete, they perspire to nothing. The sweat of the thought, he went drown the reverend with the long tail coat. Reverend preach tete, he preached to nothing. Organism play tete, play the last keyboard on the left. Well, can't look the married. Can't look for like they say. I mean, when people enjoy it, they enjoy to nothing. How you mean waiting at the end of the thing? We go the party and let Dan go. Dan not do nothing. Eat all waiting the left for the org and then dog. Nothing Dan no left. Then when we reach the house, he wet tete, Dan wet tete, he wet a full 143 centimeter kitten, a full ampim, I for keep Dan the house again and no go tolerate him. Dan don't too big for wet bed. He don't pass this. What is Dan? Dan? Dan?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I don't mean they warn you all the time. I said, Dan, at this age where you did, you still the wet. Dan, you don't pass this army. People there, you soak the people and take them in another day for them. 43 centimeter kitten, they put a thing and let it go. When they go look, Dan, you don't damage the one of those. Now they don't give you notice. Outside you all let we go.
Uncle, go tap na bearing gun, ma.
Eh, Dan.
Ma?
You mean you they tell me say we go tap na bearing gun?
I can see that man and their parents, ma.
I didn't know you want to drag me go say you, mommy.
No, ma.
What exactly you been they do this how I call you?
No, they fall them, ma.
You don't catch them fall.
Yes, ma.
You don't cover them all.
Yes, ma, but the one saying already for sleep it, ma.
The one fall saying not ready for sleep yet.
Yes, ma.
Who's right one on the fall they will say not ready for sleep yet.
Uncle, now the one with the red crosses, ma.
Who's fall that way they were long towards it? You mean the cake or the egg?
Nadi.
Nadi waiting. Dan,
Yes, uncle.
believe me, you know how you feel about when you make so? You feel about the long time goo moo moo. They when I talk you can frown you face again. If you buy a long term babu, you don't say babu for claim. Not the ever case I have to good people they come to me. Now for the other day you can't scare the friend. That man come for complete. You can't scare the man without you danger face day. Dan?
Yes, uncle.
Have you one going to talk to me? I've wait you been to talk to yourself see.
A story I've been the pool ma.
You been the full story?
Yes, ma.
But do you pull this story make I hear?
Uncle, what say you say how ma?
Oh, when you say ill, me say how.
Yes, ma.
Go ahead.
Ill.
How?
One day, now I'm in there, ma. So this man did no more. We don't do no more now day. We don't do no more now day back, ma. The man
Wait me. The man they back.
No ma, where the man did no more. Now they so say we don't do no more. We do no more now they say they go back, ma.
Oh, what the man don't they say they go work out?
Yes, ma. We work on, we work on, ma. They see one man go sick, ma. Where the man go sick no more. I say they look up the man go sick, ma.
The man saying they look up.
Yes, ma. We don't say they look up the man go sick no more. Now they see I up, ma. We don't see I up no more. Now they look at the man go sick, ma. We don't look at the man go sick no more. I didn't see one rep mango, ma.
You see one rep mango?
Yes, ma. I didn't tell the mango say, God, the mango come.
Dan,
Ma.
na story you they pull, all na story you they tell me.
Na story, ma. No, we don't call the mango. Say mango come.
The man call the mango, say mango come.
Yeah. When the mango say, hey, you left me.
The mango say, the mango say, you know they left me, you know they left me.
You left me.
That the mango vex.
Yes, ma. The mango, the man say, no, we can't come to you. The mango say, you miss out the food. The man say, I can't come to you. The man say, come to me. Where is my old son, ma? The son say, that makes me pound a flower. The stone come on and fall on the ground. I catch the stone back, you all ties, man.
Dan?
And welcome back. As she say now, all they enjoy the professionals them, Dandogo, commonly known as Dandogo them. And I thank you for your patience. We go right on to the interview now. Lawyer, we've been get for just one or two things. And once again, I thank you for your understanding. And I all welcome. Sorry that I cannot acknowledge in each of you, but I will do my best later on. Welcome once again. Now it starts all over again. The question why we ask you, Barrister, was having to do with bipartisan. How best has your political party used the bipartisan approach? Can you also provide us with example to back up your claim, sir?
Well, Khadija, as you know, the APC party, the quintessential example of bipartisanship. It's the only way we succeed for govern the country for 10 years with complete peace and tranquility, because as you see the composition of the government all through the 10 years we serve, people that we actually belong to the opposition political parties that serve inside the government as ministers, not only ministers, very senior ministers. I will just give one example here. One of we brother citizen when Asengo Kuruba served as a Minister of Internal Affairs, who is in charge of national security, but he in contest for flag bearership of the SLPP in 2012. How bipartisan can it get?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now we've moved further. Small percent of Sierra Leoneans describe Sierra Leone as peaceful. However, a huge percentage describe Sierra Leone as fragile. Where in the equation do you find yourself, sir? Or if you were to describe Sierra Leone's current state of affairs, what would that be?
I will say the situation as I see it now is pretty tenuous, very concerning. before we get the general elections in 2018, we all can agree say Sierra Leone was relatively very peaceful. But recent happenings at the country, they bring we closer and closer to civil strife. I know we'll call them war yet. We're not anywhere close, and God forbid it happens. But the country, they become more and more anxious, and again, I do agree it's pretty fragile. We need to do something really fast, and then we arrest the spate of instability.
Some will refer to members of your political party as thugs. What is your take? Do you believe that your political party members contribute to the instability in Sierra Leone? Kindly back up your response with example or examples to help educate our audience.
You know, anybody we call members of the APC as thugs, it's just been disrespectful. We're not thugs. Members of we political party are very responsible citizens. I do realize different people, they get different ways of expressing disagreements on issues, but I think that's a very unfortunate description. I think, say, as a nation, just because we're very different people and we get very different political leanings and ideologies, we do disagree, but that doesn't mean, you know, this is actually what the problem is about our country. When we begin to label each other with, you know, calling each other unfortunate names, I think members of the party are pretty law-abiding citizens. Now, listen, if I sit down now and talk, say, every member of the APC law-abiding, you know, and I will do justice there. No matter how perfect any organization be, people that did away, obviously, one way or the other, then will result to some kind of lawlessness. So then people then they at the APC, and you know, then at the SLPP and all other political parties, but we're not thugs.
So I will further ask you for now, you give example as to how your political party or the members then don't foster peace or they don't work towards national cohesion.
Listen, we don't always lay emphasis on bringing various groups together in our country as the surest and easiest way for them to be able to cement the democracy and the hard-earned peace we don't fight for our country. You can tell the way we govern. I mean, you know, examples of things we happened recently around the country, you know, to President Kalokoh's credit. When we do development projects, and I will challenge everybody for just see what happen around the country. When APC they in power, we nationalize development. We try not to be parochial. We try to be really broad-based. When, you know, a lot of people that they say President Kalokoh's signature in governance is actually expanding the road network around the country. Well, think about what really happened, how he built roads beginning from Kailao to Zimi to Koindu to Kenema to Bo and Cambia. Okay, yes, now not an hour, but you don't actually stop insect na the north. It tried to encompass everything around the country. And it bring everybody, no matter your political party, your political leanings, your political ideology, it bring you come inside governance so everybody will get a voice.
Okay. So for Sierra Leoneans, we will still they ponder with the description of we sitting president regarding your political party as terrorist. What do you go say to that?
That's unfortunate. Well, first of all, you know, it is actually very unfortunate for the leader of our country to be labeling another political party just because you have, you know, political disagreements as terrorists. I mean, you know, what I expect generally from a leader of a country is to try to bring different factions together. So, you know, just now I mentioned something where I say one of the unfortunate things we would like to do to each other in Sierra Leone is calling us unfortunate names, unfriendly names. You know, the bad thing about this thing is when that type of behavior emanates from the top, and you know it is replicated all the way down. Everybody else begins to behave the same way because you can't say you want peace in a country and then just because the other political party will happen to be the opposition, they oppose you, and you don't like within and they talk, you call them terrorists and you call them thugs. No, that they disagree with you, and to disagree is okay in a democracy. So I think say in the future, are they admonished, are they asked and hint the president for avoid incendiary, inflammatory rhetoric of that nature. It's not good for a democracy. It means for bring the country together, not divide.
Corruption can be best described as a terminal illness to any undeveloped or developing nation. What do you believe is the best way to eradicate or fight corruption?
Yes, it is. Corruption is a menace. Not just Sierra Leone. Corruption is a menace in Africa and most countries around the world. Now, one of the most guilty culprits of underdevelopment is corruption. What happens is people that siphon public funds where we supposed to use for let me provide social programs to we citizens. People convert them in their day and turn them to their own, which is not good. And one person will really join the fight against corruption at all levels. However, the how we get there is actually the question. And I think say most Sierra Leoneans agree say corruption is something we need for faith. Well, if and when I become president, one of the first things I'd like to do is actually provide education to the citizenry about the ills of corruption. It's very important. One of the things we're very unfortunate in Sierra Leone, where I don't say many times, and where when me own time come for government, where I would like for do is actually reintroduce civics in the education curriculum, beginning from kindergarten all the way to university. Because it's very important for less citizens to understand what in corruption they do to a nation, how corruption they destroy a country. Number two, if I able to educate the citizens and get them to understand how corruption bad, for fight corruption, me one grain as president, which I think President Bioni government they try to do, fight corruption all by yourself, you will succeed. You want to do a public-private partnership in fighting corruption. Corruption is endemic, and it don't permeate with society to the point that we need for FETAM at all levels. But for let we able FETAM at all levels, you need to make every citizen a willing participant in the process. You therefore make sure say every citizen participates, every citizen becomes a partner in fighting corruption. Now, the third thing I want to say, where make things say this current government really don't make mistakes on, corruption, the fight against corruption get for rarely be politically agnostic. And what I mean by that is, when you introduce political leanings, you want to use corruption for fighting political battles, you will not succeed in fighting corruption. If you say only the people where you don't like, will not belong to you party, now they accuse of corruption, the one day where they inside your side, they accuse them of corruption, they prosecute them, then the fight against corruption will be very parochial.
That was actually my next question for ask you, waiting at your take on the bio-administration approach in fighting corruption. And also, furthermore, I want to educate us from the legal perspective. Did he follow the due processes? Meaning, is the commission of inquiry designed or given the mandate to arrest or detain anyone?
I think the president did well. We differ is actually his approach toward fighting corruption. Well, it looks to me like the fight against corruption don't become an easy weapon where the president simply take and they use them for able for decimate opponents, which is very unfortunate. I actually join them in fighting corruption, like I always don't see. I like the position where they take in fighting corruption, except follow due process. If you want to come to people, you want to take people their property, you want to imprison them because of corruption, for goodness sake, give them a chance for let their own voices be heard. He who comes to equity must do equity. Now, a legal principle what we all always get now with the democracy, now with judicial and legal system, give people the chance for let them able to defend themselves appropriately. They fight corruption by finding somebody guilty already, and you go look for the evidence for let you can officially find them guilty on paper. What you do is you try to make let the process be fair,
so everybody will get chance. So now I come to the next question we ask about due process. No, I do not see due process here. As you know, the very first person we raised this issue about Section 150, where he set up the commissions of inquiry, where I say, yeah, but then setting up commissions of inquiry under the Constitution presuppose say there are already rules of engagement, and Section 150 makes it mandatory that the rules of engagement for day. What we may see in setting up the commissions of inquiry was actually speed. The president and the government, they sacrifice a procedural regularity for speed. So they want to go so fast that procedure not important at all. And I think that's a very important thing. And also, the reason we make a pick on them on the issue of rules of evidence. Okay, everybody say, I don't try to explain in various audio them. So we the lawyer, why rules of evidence very important? Because you don't want let somebody can give monafik evidence against other person until what ever sabi, they there. You don't want I can present documents against somebody when if you say this document are forgery, they're not able to see the original. You bring only a photocopy. When you don't go Photoshop the document, you put signature, then you say, now President Kuruma signature this. But the original, not the photocopy, you bring come. That is why we need rules of evidence. So where I see down there, the lawyer will be where I see the president do the proclamation, and then he say rules of evidence not they apply. I say, Mr. President, why not? You get to give a chance because this is a very important thing. If you get to see somebody else, let the whole world see say, you don't take advantage of the policy, you don't bring some corona evidence, you can't plant and tap in here, you don't get a chance to let you defend this. Why they exclude rules of evidence? You don't want to challenge the evidence or you don't believe the evidence will you get. So in that respect, for those two reasons, I don't believe they follow due process.
I like you make a laugh with the Munafiki and the Kokoroma evidence. Anyhow, well, thank you. After concluding an investigation, I apologize. After concluding an investigation, what should the legal steps be that needs to be taken in a case wherein the Commission of Inquiry is not satisfied with the person of interest?
Well, usually when commissions do hold, investigate, within the ambit of the mandate they give them, investigate everything they ask them to investigate. At the conclusion of the investigation, they prepare a report where they will submit to the government, so the government will make necessary reactions and orders based on the report which the commission give. If they find certain people wanting inside the commission report and the government publish their white paper, then people that they forget chance, opportunity for challenge the findings or the report of the commission findings where the commission report be against them particular people then they. Because remember, commission report is equal to a judgment of the High Court according to section 149.4 of the Constitution. So people can appeal and go to the Court of Appeals. And if they're not satisfied also with the ruling of the Court of Appeal, they can go as high as the Supreme Court. That's actually the legal steps that.
So having said that, does the Commission of Inquiry or the ACC boss have the right to convict anyone, or is that the responsibility of the court of law?
Only the court of law can convict anybody of any wrongdoing. The ACC cannot. They have investigatory powers and prosecutorial powers, which means they can investigate, they can charge persons in a court for certain offenses. Now, I don't see recently this confluence, this intersection kind of conflict between the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Commission of Inquiry. These should actually be two separate arms of government. They could cooperate. We still see by this Commission of Inquiry. The reason we make people they hear anti-corruption after the Commission of Inquiry, because the Commission of Inquiry, unfortunately, sadly, they fail in their responsibility for thoroughly investigate the things what they tell them to do. So because they're not able to meet the responsibility where government give them for investigate, first of all, they started off with no rules, which is why I said you should have rules under Section 150. But because they don't get rules, they were not guided by anything. They tried to bring the High Court rules. So of course, they go fast. Certain things that they would tell them to do, they not do them properly. So now because they not do them properly, what thing they do? They fall back, they go back and say, well, we ask the Anti-Corruption Commission to go investigate this particular issue. Listen, I thought that's why the commission was set up to begin with. Why did you waste public money on for give people the set up a commission of inquiry if they were only going to conclude by saying go back to the anti-corruption commission? You're wasting public money. So the anti-corruption, yes, they're able to investigate and prosecute matters, but why would they spend double? Why the commission of inquiry not already complete within a given for do? Now that they say anti-corruption, now it don't cause all this confusion.
Thank you, sir. So many Sierra Leoneans go say they're in the category of being blessed to be in a country where in a land of opportunity, this wonderful United States of America, and serve in the capacity of barrister at law. Having said that, if you can compare and construct Sierra Leone's judiciary system and that of here with the United States, what think that's going to be?
I mean, the differences are pretty glaring. But just because also, the social and political context of both countries are different, so they're different a little bit. I will say, though, that in the United States, the protocol and procedure in doing cases is streamlined. It's pretty straight and it's pretty fast, and it happen. Regardless of whose side of the political spectrum somebody belongs. That are the one big difference we see inside here. So nobody not care somebody na Republican, somebody na Democrat. Where you go na court you go, and the rule of law is supreme, paramount. Other considerations not the no human being, no society not the way perfect, but that happens out here. Now also now we are country. It's a younger democracy, so I not go be so fast as to criticize the judicial system, as a lot of people they're trying, then they do the best what they're able to do with very limited resources. I will only say that we have a long way to go, and I hope say we all will come together, especially we when our lawyers for try for let we strengthen the judicial and legal system so it will able for operate at least close to a point where within the United States. But I can tell you the legal system in the United States is second to none.
Thank you. So now go back again and water in a different way, wherein let's say here in the United States, the sitting president will happen to be Donald Trump. If he go and lie past somebody under oath and then find out, say the president don't lie past somebody, waiting go be the penalty for him as a president.
For perjury. Just because just because you're president is not a license to commit crimes. Again, the president is under the law, and the president supposed to be under the law. The president know that. Now we're not going to tolerate things, criminal behavior just because you be president, and you think somehow you're going to be shielded by some kind of immunity. You get to engage yourself as president in ethical behavior where becoming of the office where you occupy. So that's actually the right thing to do. And you know what? Listen, a few years ago, I gave one of my friend who had been charged the governor of Virginia for bribery and corruption. One of my friends say it's good for him too, and I do agree. When a leader behaves in a criminal manner, it's good for him that we punish him under the law, so that everybody go know say this is something where the country thrive.
Thank you, sir. I want to also ask you again with that same answer where you give, we get the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative that apply for Sierra Leone as well as the United States of America. Do the president of the United States of America get any rights for manipulate or put on by the judiciary system back home? I mean, sorry, in the case of United States, does Donald Trump have any rights for manipulate or influence the judiciary system or the legislative system in any kind of way? In other words, say if like Donald Trump, a best friend, is found to be guilty of X, Y, and Z, can he at any time manipulate the system for make that person they go free?
No, he can't. I mean, of course, not politician, and generally us politicians, you try any legal means so you do for try for influence things so they will happen you young way. But one thing we know is that in the U.S., there's something called obstruction of justice, where we take very seriously, and the president not the above obstruction of justice. If any case is ongoing, just because somebody that you protege, somebody that you friend, somebody that possibly that you campaign, you saw what happened to Paul Manafort. Within Donald Trump in campaign team. I mean, we charged him to court and we found him guilty. We locked him up. This is exactly what it means. And the president knows he did under the law. The oath will take it did for uphold the law and the Constitution of the United States. He can't intervene, because if he intervene, we'll charge him with perjury. What are they saying? Obstruction of justice. I apologize.
If Sierra Leone was to put that into practice, how good would that be for our system from your perspective?
It could be very good for a system in many respects. So first of all, what that does is it gets the executive arm of government for understand, say, not to the executive supreme, that the law is supreme. Secondly, it help for temper the behavior of politicians, whether members of the executive, or let them know, see, just because you get power does not mean the power is boundless. The boundaries of the power we get, it goes so far only as the boundary of the law. If you cross that boundary there and you step on the law, you will know, say, there will be repercussions. That will bring integrity in governance, and everybody will behave himself. If the citizens see the president, they behave himself in a manner which fits the office we hold, everybody else will follow suit.
Now we talk a little bit more about the legal part of it. As you now the brain behind, one of the brains with the law here, and I guess you were able to educate we a bit better. How legal was it, or is it, for the BO government to get outside lawyers to decide the fate of Sierra Leoneans? Is it constitutionally legal?
It is.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
And a lot of people, ask me that question, and I understand that there are social and political issues there, and there are legal issues. Listen, the Constitution allow people where they practice now other common law countries, we qualify for be called to the bar for practice now various countries within the sub-region. So somebody get called to the bar in Nigeria, and a judge in Nigeria qualify for be a judge in Nigeria, then get common law. We Constitution allow that. So now,
wonderful. So now, at least you don't make that clear in terms of the legal aspect. It is legal that it can use any lawyer outside of Sierra Leone for decide the fate of Sierra Leonean. The next question would be: many Sierra Leoneans will wonder if our lawyers in Sierra Leone are so incompetent that the BO government has no choice but to hire lawyers from outside of the country. What does that say about our local lawyers?
It doesn't. I personally feel, say, that the social and political aspects where they talk about. I do not think it's good politics. It doesn't tell a good story about we lawyers and we judges that we country. I think, what do I think about lawyers and judges in Sierra Leone? I think they're highly competent. They're well educated. They're able to execute their functions. Yeah, so just as well as the judges we come out, the other countries we come, and around the sub-region, most people they don't see Sierra Leone lawyers and we education system one of the best. But that's a decision, an executive decision we the president get from it, and hopefully down the road the lawyers themselves will find some time to be able to speak up for themselves.
So the next question, again, like a 3-in-1 question. The very first one: how fair was this commission of inquiry from your perspective? Many also wonder how come the permanent secretaries were not called for questioning. If permanent secretary happened to be the vote controller, meaning they are responsible for budget allocation and disbursement, in that vein, why were they exempt from the commission of inquiry? Furthermore, if the ministers misappropriate funding, then it's only obvious that the permanent secretaries or secretaries are in collusion. So what is your take on that, sir?
First of all, I agree with the characterization. We say there's some kind of collusion. I don't agree. I feel, say, it's some kind of partnership. Like how you say, the civil service, complementary the political service, they work together. So it kind of concerning to me. A lot of people then say the president he exempts the civil servants or permanent secretaries because most of them actually belong to a young ethnic group or a tribe where we come from. I do not know that because actually we don't know the individually people that with are permanent secretaries, right? But then what confused me is, listen, if you're going to do an investigation, commission of inquiry on corruption, not exempt anybody. Try to make everybody just as responsible as everybody else. We touch anything we get for do with the public. So for come and say, okay, permanent secretaries will not included for this commission of. I keep wondering. I mean, listen, I wonder every time I think about this thing. I say, well, I wonder who said the president they announced the permanent secretary their own investigation. But if you ask the president, I will tell you, I want to be fair to both sides. He will tell you, say, certain permanent secretaries and they way their names appear under this commission of inquiry. But it does look to me like maybe one or two, but the majority of them were not actually implicated, and it looked like their names actually appeared to have dealt with financial resources who belong to the country. I keep wondering why they did not appear.
Many Sierra Leoneans will ask, is this a white paper designed wholly and solely to smear the All People's Congress political party, or is it designed for accountability across board? What's your take, sir?
Across board, I don't think so. Because, I mean, just like what you are saying just now, across board, it does not look to me like this is across the board. Now, trying to smear the People's Congress might be an ulterior goal of the government here, which, to me, I really think, say, go away, they're not able to accomplish anyway, because it's an institution, it's a really big institution, but it does look to me, and me, one of the people that we talk, say, this thing a witch hunt, and it does look to me as a witch hunt against the All People's Congress, and that's unfair.
One of the most important houses of any nation should be that of the House of Parliament, which is responsible to see that there are laws put in place to benefit the masses. What does it mean for that very house to be labeled as one of the most corrupt institutions in Sierra Leone?
I agree about and it's very unfortunate. And I try to check out the source of that allegation. It seems to me as a very credible source. I really hope, say, we Parliament would try to take steps for let wipe off this bad neighborhood and get so. Parliament, now that they make the law. A Parliament should be the last place, for corruption of that nature to be happening. But then you hear what you saying last time about, number one, Parliament trying to raise their own salaries where everybody else is struggling in the country. I never call that corruption. That was actually self-centered. But then also, you hear when the issue come up about giving emergency powers to the president for a year, the first person will grab and say, I don't think so. You're not just grab and give president emergency powers or unfettered absolute emergency powers. It does look to me like waiting people that they say exactly they happen at the parliament. I mean, if you just go just the rubber stamp stuff where you think say no they help the country, and that's unfortunate. I hope say the speaker and other members of parliament will try to redeem themselves from this one, but that's unfortunate.
What does it also mean when the credibility of the sitting president and his administration is questionable, yet they are calling the past administration of Dr. Ines Bakarr corrupt? What's your take on that? In the example of the chief minister, 1.5 million, and the list goes on. What's your take on that one, sir?
I know, unfortunately, I'm not able to get any significant evidence other than the allegation of the chief minister being involved in a 1.5 million deal where then say was acquired by corrupt beings. I don't have any evidence to back that. Suffice it to say that allegation came up, and the Anti-Corruption Commission thought it was serious enough to look into it and investigate. I think, and I believe, say, I did read some kind of a press statement made by the Anti-Corruption Commission that they looked into it, that there is no evidence to substantiate the allegations where somebody make the social media. Now, coming to the current president and in government, I will hold off on making any judgment as to their credibility or as to any leanings or proclivity for corruption until the time Kawu will be able to collate or gather all the evidence about what happened during the administration. But at this point, I will also say that just speaking on the ex-president and in government as being corrupted, we get stories of corrupt practices happening under the watch of this administration seems to be very concerning. And what concern me is I read yesterday, now that you bring this up, I read yesterday about 3 point something billion with the revenue when they say you lost the airport under this government in watch, and I see the anti-corruption being very defensive, trying to explain what they did and almost they don't recover in that respect. So I do see some kind of credibility to the claims where the people here so debate.
So which your submission in regards to the we chief minister, some set of Sierra Leonean go call them as double standard, not following the due process or preferential treatment. If there's a concern with every other Sierra Leonean, then get the process where then they follow for net like what you stated earlier. No one is above the law. So many go be curious as to how come certain Sierra Leonean have to go through the due process by going to court, answer question openly, where camera is, like this commission, the camera all my see X, Y, and Z. So how come the chief minister not be followed the due process like every other Sierra Leonean?
Again, as I've been saying previously, this is one of them cases that we I not get a lot of details as to the culpability of the chief minister with regards to that money. I will get for err on the side of caution and say I believe within the Anti-Corruption Commission said that they investigated the chief minister and did not find any credible evidence of him having engaged in corrupt practices. So I'm not going to make any allegation. Now, whether or not the chief minister was called in, now anti-corruption, I assume he was, but that's not something we perhaps down the road we'll be able to look into detail about that. But I'm going to hold up any judgment regarding that issue.
Okay, again, I respect what you say, but the question for Sierra Leoneans go be wearing that every other Sierra Leonean be them is sitting at the courtroom where they answer questions them. So whether he was guilty or not guilty, how come instead not be follow that same procedure they when them force other Sierra Leoneans then for do, wherein they get questioned and go see Dr. Lawyer Joe Bele, if that's his correct name, excuse me if I didn't mispronounce her, where he asks them X, Y, and Z, then he go clear and say, okay, you are not guilty, X, Y, and Z, or we don't follow all due process. So now that's not the way, they try for geared out. Not geared towards, not saying that you for answer whether or not he's guilty or whatever the case may be.
I totally understand it. And I think nobody not supposed to be above the law. Just because the chief minister, if you do anything wrong, he engage in criminal misconduct, they're supposed to hold on to book like everybody else. The reason why we can withhold judgment as to whether or not they subject them to the legal process like everybody else depend on findings with the Anti-Corruption Commission don't make. Anti-Corruption Commission, I get for defer to them since that the professional agency responsible for looking into matters of that nature say they investigated the issue. They did not see evidence sufficient for charge the matter and go court with them who bring in the chief minister for letting answer questions. But anyway, so the citizen that really listen, yes, if the chief minister engaged and there's evidence for say he engaged in corrupt practices, they're supposed to bring that come to book. And if I answer questions are court of law like everybody else, you're not supposed to be above the law.
Thank you, sir. So I'm sorry where they put you at the hot seat because question like that for be answered by we information minister. We also don't give multiple invites now this platform and different folks then we hold position at this current administration where unfortunately they are yet to come, and we hope that they will come one day. So I'm sorry that they put the pressure on you, so forgive me on that one. Many have commended the action of Honorable Tawa and Honorable Indolo Jivaro for taking bold step on transparency and honesty. During his interview with Mr. Umaru, Honorable Jivaro made it clear that Parliament was corrupt. Honorable Tawa also made the decision to step down from his position as the chairperson for the parliamentarian committee. What is your take on that?
I commend those two gentlemen. Honorable Tawa, I really commend them. That's the right thing to do. Sometimes when things are wrong, you call them wrong. Don't try for sugarcoat them and try for make it look like say it good. I mean, if it is corrupt, the only way we can get rid of corruption now for make sure say we call them out for waiting it be, and for let one of them come out and say we think this parliament they engage in corrupt practices. I mean, bingo. I commend them. They encourage other members of parliament. Number one, not engage yourself in corrupt practice. It's not good for your country. Number two, if you think anything of that nature they happen, blow the whistle. Number three, do not wait like waiting Honorable Tawa do. Dissociate yourself. Come out there. Not be part of it. The future of Sierra Leone 50 years from now will depend on waiting Honorable Givao and Honorable Tawa content and do so for we country. Now, it will depend on whether Sierra Leone will able to emerge from this kind of doldrum world deep and then we will emerge as a strong nation economically and politically.
Thank you, sir. President Bio, thank you for a productive meeting with MCC Threshold Program, your commitment to success, and he also added, I look forward to a continued strong partnership. The word of Mr. Sean, the CEO of MCC. Are you familiar with the progress and commitment to success? Or is he also referring to, furthermore, is he speaking on behalf of Sierra Leonean as a whole or small percent that may have benefit from the MCC program? What's your take, sir?
Well, let me just say that, yes, I am familiar with the MCC, Millennium Challenge Corporation. That's the United States of America. They own one of the outreach programs for able to help developing countries for let them get resources, financial resources where they need for able to fund some of their social and economic programs. Now, I'm also aware, say, the United States, they tie money where they give to developing countries to certain benchmarks where they're supposed to make, which is some of them, the rule of law, human rights, and how well will they distribute resources to especially vulnerable members of society, which is a good thing. And I subscribe to which in that they try to do. In other words, we'll give you money, but we will hold you accountable. Yes, President Bio is speaking for our country. He's the president.
No, so
I realize we.
I apologize, sir. So no, what they say, the man further say that basically it is see progress and commitment to success. So I want to know if, from your own perspective, if you're familiar with this progress and commitment to success, and I further ask, say, do you believe that Sierra Leonean they don't benefit from this, or is it just a portion of Sierra Leoneans them way basically don't benefit under this program?
Some Sierra Leoneans don't benefit from this program. I'm aware that certain conditions where the MCC gave Sierra Leone, we still not able to meet their conditions. And as a matter of fact, the last time we did make an assessment, we failed. We didn't do well. I'm not going to say certainly that the BO administration not make progress in trying for sure the economy. I agree with World Bank and other partners. They say they take steps for try for strengthen the economy, but that's only one aspect of within the MCC they look into. But I also realize for say then they get a failed rate in maintaining and preserving and respecting fundamental human rights. You see within they happen senseless killings, political violence, and all those are things also we the MCC they look at. So just because they say the commitment towards success does not mean success. It only means you're saying that I will continue to do what I need to do so we will succeed. It don't mean say the government don't succeed really. And if this government get a long way for able to succeed by this MCC, because given which they see so the human rights violations, yeah, so lack of respect for the rule of law, I don't really see how well they don't do in meeting these challenges.
I want to talk about a recent incident in McKinney. Some describe it as an uprising from the citizen. So to say enough is enough. Some call it lawlessness. What do you call it? Furthermore, McKinney shooting during protests against removal of generator. Your take on that. And finally, I want to also tell me how we go better engage the youth them and save lives at the same time.
So I'm not going to, I do the best way I'm able not to engage in political rhetoric. I know people that ask me a lot of times, enough is enough. I don't know what enough is enough means, because I understand that the government as it stands now, they overreach in a lot of things than they do in their attempt to try to enforce the law their own way. The incidents at McKinney, better this one will happen then 2 days here, a lot better. And I guess for no matter how bad it looks, let me commend the government small for exercising some amount of restraint. The previous one about the generator was very unfortunate. It did not have to happen. That was, una family within a house may or be released. The behavior of the government and law enforcement was very reckless. It's unacceptable. You do not unleash violence on your citizens only because they disagree with you, and the youth in Common who will not get weapons like how we not get weapons and not get official apparatus, security apparatus na the country for pressure people and guns and that kind of a thing. Then come on and do then throw stones and you fire live bullets. Come on, man. You can't do that to your citizens. When I can engage in civil discourse with the stakeholders within McKinney, like how they say, let's do it. When I can tell and say, let we try for fair way let we provide electricity when we open the airport. I think they will understand, they will be able to talk to the people there. Now, the one way happened then 2 days here, it's a mix. They say some people, I think, got really so fired up that they think, say, the Anti-Corruption Commission, they come for let them can't take we only that way na partners. So I think a lot of people got really excited. I other than the Timap na the road, I did not see high level of lawlessness at all, other than singing and the noise that they make. And based on my understanding, they don't actually prohibit the people that we come for interview the president, the ex-president, and himself inviting people here for let them come inside. So I really not see lawlessness that side. And I commend the government also for exercising maximum restraint.
Wonderful. How do we engage the youth and save life at the same time, even when something they maybe, let's say, if they may go outside of the norm and then cause anything we go undermine with peace and stability, how we go still able for engage them and yet still save life without using the bullets against them?
So last time, when I issued my audio about that rape incident who they say they hold up about, I said something about the youth of Sierra Leone. So, first of all, I don't say this president not come on at the north, I understand that. But you're the president of the whole country. So because youths will come on McKinney and youths will belong to the APC does not mean not to you the president for their youth. You're the president for their youth, you're responsible for them too. So one of the ways where I always don't say is somebody needs to do something, forget the youth here so from engaging themselves on productive activities. So most of the time, waiting they happen in our country, the youths then they express their frustration and the anger at the type of underlying economic, political, and social situation where exist in the country, where basically don't make most of them look their lives as wasted and useless. So number one, they always feel say government get a responsibility for trying to do something for them young people here, so they will engage themselves. Now, when the time comes where I become president, one of the biggest things I really plan for you, I won't forget youth, the young people around the country, regardless of whose tribe and whose side you come out in the country, forget some kind of skills, vocational skills. It's very important. It's very important for us to teach young people in our country how to do business, how to spend money. Perhaps if they become so engaged, they sabi spend their own money. Number one, they go forget say government ain't always forgive their job. But now teach them how to find jobs for themselves, how to find money for themselves. All right. The second thing where I think is necessary for let the government always do, young people, they get a lot of energy. They have this way of expressing themselves by outbursts. Sometimes they look violent, but also they are human beings. We should engage them. When we make decisions, we want as senior citizens of the country, we get for fair time for now explain to the youth, therefore make them understand the significance of the decisions who they make and why that decision is important and why it's good for them. If we able to engage them, we able to convince them, just like what happened about the generator. If the government spend time and engage the youth and explain to them for say, when a young family where they come out abroad and people the way they come out abroad, where they come, then they pay taxes to the country, now then taxes here will they take for law, will make the roads, will do things and good for the country. Now that make they can't take this generator. I think say the youth will understand. So engagement, dialogue, understanding, do something for the youth. That's all we say.
Pademba Road killings of Sierra Leoneans inmates, some call it massacre and perpetrated by the Bio government. Others call it a riot. What do you call it, sir?
It's a massacre. I'm going to stop short of accusing anyone. I don't want to accuse President Bio as having perpetrated the massacre, but suffice it to say, it was a massacre. Why was it necessary for people to go to the central prison at 3 a.m., for go try for lock a prison where they don't send people there from the court for let them daily, and certain people they just go try for open the prison and go cause chaos there. I mean, again, till today I ask myself the question. So first of all, what didn't prompt the action where people they take when they go to the prison? Why were they there anyway? What did they go do there? And then, out of some, recklessness, where certain citizens engage themselves in, they will cause unnecessary loss of lives, where not be necessary at all. So in this case, I will blame the government. The reason we make they blame the government, they are in charge. Anytime we are in charge, something like this happen under you watch, we blame you. I'm not saying President Mio or anybody for let it go to but at least something needs or needed to have been done for let the prison not be this vulnerable.
The Tombo incident uprising by the youth followed by a reaction of the government that lead to killing of a citizen. Who is to blame? Were the youth wrong? Was the government wrong from your point of view?
Both sides. Both sides. Okay. And actually, the three sides to this story. So also, this is one of the issues where I be release an audio. So to we within the diaspora, we listen to me. So some of we did at the diaspora and we sit down, we're safe. But actually, I did say some of we where they promote hate speech. Some of we where they incite young people, we're vulnerable, we're gullible now we country, and ask them for letting they resist the government and break the law and take the law out of their hands and go burn police station. Shame on you. I said that before in the previous audio. You can't do that to your own country. You don't go foment violence in your own country. Now, the one group of people, the silent group of people, where most people not see inside this equation. And I saw it for who they are. And I condemn them. And I will continue to condemn them. You don't go sit down abroad, you try to foment violence in your country. So the young people, now listen, if it's something like this way happen at home, violence happened there. Now, in your houses, and now people, if somebody tell you for let you go cause violence at home, why you go there for go cause violence? Now you in the effect anyway. So, don't always listen to that rhetoric. Just because you disagree with what the police they do, the chief they do, does not mean if you go on the chief in house. We follow channels because ultimately we also get for camp for day in governance. We don't want to let anybody they do that one day. Now we they engage yourself or now we talk. Now the government, certain things that they way government they do, a lot of times now then they cause them problems. Yeah, so we certain social problems, then they escalate to the point and they boil over. They're not the aggressor. Then they did at the communities, the rural council then they did, the CPO they did, the police chief they did, the other people then they did, where they control waiting they happen at the WAF that go. Then they wait say where problems they don't go out of control. Now the time that's when they can then bring all the guns, they want come for them and the young people. Where first of all now they don't fail for do their jobs, now that make the situation they arise. So these three groups of people we need for the collaboration, we need for work together, so we will continue to get peace in our communities.
Your prediction, sir, for the 2023 presidential election, what do you foresee? How safe are Sierra Leoneans and your political party being the main opposition? What's your take?
Not very safe. I still need to see more and a stronger commitment from the government for provide security, especially for the opposition, especially the main opposition. All People's Congress, I see consistent, incessant onslaught on strongholds of the Young People's Congress in the Northwest, harass people the way they did, and I think that they not good well for the democracy. We need to get credible elections. But if I had to predict what thing will happen in 2023, the Young People's Congress Party is coming back to power. And obviously, I will tell you, I'm going to be declared winner of the presidential election.
How long can an inquiry into activities of a past by a present government last? Is there an expiration date or limited time frame? Or let me go further. Let's say if the late President Shaka Stephen, if he's still there alive, then let's say another political party come in 2023 and then decide for bring back again the late Shaka Stephen to the book. Is it possible? If so, how long is there an expiration date or not necessarily?
There's no expiration date for criminal activity. If you commit a crime, and anytime that crime gets discovered, you can be prosecuted for it. So that's the quick answer to that. Now, the issue is certain things that they talk about now in politics. Is it prudent for we go back that far for try to investigate certain issues, especially if they're treated with some kind of political underpinnings? Maybe not a wise idea for let any government come and try to go investigate things that happened 30, 40 years ago.
Will they take a quick break and will they come right back? And I thank you.
The Foreign Broadcasting Service presents the professionals in Dan Broko.
What Komona do? This na better use Komona do. Johnny Wright married to Olai Kaseke. Lord Adidi. You Blancy married Lekeda. I mean, the thoughtful tete is full to nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. The people that sweat na the thought tete, they perspire to nothing. The sweat of the thought, he went drown the reverend with the long tail coat. Reverend preached tete, he preached to nothing. Organism play tete, play the last keyboard on the left. Well, can't look the married. Can't look how like they say. I mean, when people enjoy it, they enjoy to nothing. How you mean waiting at the end of the thing? We go the party and let Dan go. Dan not do nothing. Eat all waiting the left for the hog and then dog. Nothing Dan no left. Then when we reach the house, he wet Dan wet he wet a full 143 centimeter kittle, a full ampim, I for keep Dan the house again and no go tolerate him. Dan don't too big for wet man. He don't pass this. What is Dan? Dan?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I don't mean they warn you all the same. I said, Dan, at this age where you did, you still the wet. Dan, you don't pass this habit. People there, you soak the people and take them in at another for them. 43 centimeter people, they put and say now when they drop. When they go look, Dan, you don't damage the one of those. Now they don't even notice. Outside you while we go.
Uncle, what's happening there in God, ma?
Eh, Dan.
Ma?
You mean you they tell me say we go tap now in God?
I can see that man and their parents, ma.
I didn't know you want to let me go say you, mommy.
No, ma.
What exactly you mean they do this how I call you?
No, they fall them, ma.
You don't teach them fall?
Yes, ma.
You don't cover them all?
Yes, ma, but the one saying already for sleep yet, ma.
The one for saying already for sleep yet?
Yes, ma.
Who's right one on the phone they were saying already for sleep yet?
Uncle, the one with the red crosses, ma.
Who's for that with the very long crosses? You mean the cake or the egg?
Nadi
waiting. Dan,
yes, uncle.
Believe me, you know how you feel about what you make so? You feel about the lunch and goo moo moo. Then when I talk, you can frown, you face again. If you buy a long term babu, you don't see a babu proclaim. Not the ever carry I saw good people they come to me. Now told the other day you can't scare the friend. That man come for camp preach. You can't scare the man without you danger face day. Dan?
Yes, uncle.
Have you one going to talk to me? I've what you been to talk to yourself, see?
A story I've been the pool, ma.
You been the pool story?
Yes, ma.
But do you pull this story make I
Uncle, what say you say how, ma?
Oh, when you say ill, me say how.
Yes, ma.
Go ahead.
Ill.
How?
One day, now I'm been there, ma. So this man did no more. We don't do no more, now we don't do no more, now they back, ma.
Wait me. The man they back.
No ma, where the man did no more. Now they so say, we don't do no more, we do no more, now they say they go work, ma.
Oh, what the man don't they say they go work?
Yes, ma. We work, we work, ma. They see where man go sick, ma. Where the man go sick no more. I say they look up the man go sick, ma.
The man saying they look up?
Yes, ma. We don't say they look up the man go sick no more. Now they see I up, ma. We don't see I up no more. Now they look at the man go sick, ma. We don't look at the man go sick no more. Now they see one rep mango, ma.
They see one rep mango?
Yes, ma. Now they tell the mango say, God, the mango come.
Dan,
ma.
Now, the story you they pull, all that story you they tell me.
A story, ma. No, we don't call the mango. Say mango come.
The man call the mango, say mango come.
Yeah. When the mango say, hey, you left me.
The mango say, the mango say, you know they left me, you know they left me.
You call me. You left me.
That the mango vex.
Yes, ma. The mango, no more the man say, no, we can't come to you. The mango say, you miss out the food. The man say, I can't come to you. The man say, come to me. Where the man hold the stone, the stone say, that makes me pound and flower. The stone come on and fall on the ground. I catch the stone back, you all tight, man.
Dan,
so cool.
Dan,
man.
you just talk like then they bump you.
No, we don't take the stone, you all tight. I just stone the mango.
I just stone the mango.
Yeah. I the mango for them, man. The mango around. I didn't run back, man.
The mango around.
Yes, man.
I get around back.
Yes, man. Now better, man.
Now better.
Where better, man. The mango say, you love. The mango balance. You go down to go to man. We don't go down to go to man. The man, you want to go meet and back with your finger, man. And the mango go. You go put it in the belly, man. We don't go down belly, man. You want to come back.
Dan, I'm not going to tolerate you for don't canvas story like this before me. If Reverend come to they tell me this kind of story, go tell me I ought to know better. How you think you don't do your bad game here? Pack all your punches now and move right outside. I tolerate you here no more. You hear it? You lie bad. You're not confounded liar. You can lie this and let come. Outside. Go pack all you 2-3 pieces, them get right outside. Hear it? And no more make you no kaya again. This bubble they put me on too much disgrace. Let mortal man not pray forget this kind of oath. Hey Dan, what to make you big fool so? How you spell your own big fool? Hey God, what kind of kiss me get so? Lago to corrindo qua de cap. Wow, so ya go slow. We don't take 6 weeks now. Unable to see you now. No, but this one of me, bro. What I am so good to you, ma. You mean I tell you, now they can keep company with you, so. Now that on again. Dan? Now what happened?
Uncle said, Uncle Bongo grabbed me, man.
Can I say, they don't know. Now what do you do to grab you?
Uncle, now where Fancy Joy have been go to her no more.
What? Dad, you know what you go do? Let them begin the talk back. Let them begin the talk back. What?
We no more. Where Auntie Joy have been go to her no more. Uncle say make a wait and a brother, man. So I don't wait and a brother no more. I didn't go inside house, man.
And welcome back. I know say Nabi they enjoy the professionals then the dandogo. Anyhow, I know say lawyer Kalokoh been they explain to we about how long it takes. So I wanna repeat that again, then we will go continue now with the interview. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. I think the last question where we respond to was about the Tomu incident where they try for admonish all the three groups for say we are going forward. Una way they try for push the young people them una stop. Una the young people themselves una stop for the address issues the way una they try for do and so. And the government would try for act fast for the address young people and concerns the communities who are there. If we do so, we all will be able to work together as a team.
Yes. And then you also talked to me about the inquiries. In other words, let's say the late Pasheki is still there alive. They want to bring them back to the book for say they give accounts, or let's say this current administration go out of power if they don't do something 1961. Say somebody go take over, whether it's this administration or another person will take over in 2023. If it's another administration, how is there an expiration date where they can bring anybody to the book, or if not, then educates we better. Come back in, sir.
Like how we say no more, there's no time limit for let we address criminal wrongdoing. If somebody commits a crime, it takes 50 years to discover the crime. 50 years later, we can still prosecute him for the crime as long as we get sufficient evidence. Now, I've been saying sometimes politically, for trying to go back and go investigate somebody who is in whole position of power going back 30, 40 years, politically, it probably not make sense. It will probably be more prudent for let sleeping dogs lie. Now, this is not to say would they encourage people that will hold political positions where they try to commit crimes and cover up, because, on certain situations, we will reopen those issues in a criminal wrongdoing that they will go after the person.
Thank you, sir. National cohesion, human rights, tribalism, political intimidation, selective justice. You take on that, but before that, you been get some audios then where you make reference of where you been on pull a little while ago where Abuwan play, and then we talk a little bit about that. Now you expand a little bit on that one. I bring in the audio now, and excuse me, please.
This is Lawyer Bakarr Kalokoh.
Before I go further, sir, I want to make sure say that's not your own voice, because I know say in the past you don't get somebody where they an impersonator where they basically mimic your voice. So I want to make sure say now your voice you before I go further, sir.
Yes, that is my voice.
Wonderful, thank you.
Senior member of the All People's Congress Party and leader of the indomitable Kalokoh movement, responding to President Bio's address this morning before the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Let me first of all thank the President for taking the time to participate in a historic event which fosters dialogue on the world's march toward progress and development. This year's theme at the UN General Assembly is, and I quote, galvanizing multilateral efforts for poverty eradication, quality education, climate action and inclusion, end quote. Fellow Sierra Leoneans, our President started his remarks by calling on the United Nations to expedite and fast-track Africa's inclusion in the United Nations Security Council. I support the President's call to make the UN Security Council more broadly representative. Additionally, his message that Africa demands 2 permanent seats with all the rights and prerogatives of current members, including the right of veto, and 2 additional non-permanent seats, and the right to have an equal say in decision-making regarding issues pertaining to international peace and security is apt and in place. Why should Africa have a say in global security arrangements, one may ask? Because the African continent has in more recent times become the bedrock of incessant conflicts, a safe haven for international terrorism, and the continent is becoming an economic powerhouse that cannot be continuously ignored. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens, the continent of Africa is on the move, and the world cannot be left behind. So I must thank our President for making a continent's case for change in the UN Security Council's structure. In his remarks, President Bio spoke about Sierra Leone's role in peacekeeping operations around the world and the country's overarching desire to maintain peace and tranquility at home. Specifically, the President said, and I quote, "Sierra Leone's active participation in peacekeeping operations demonstrates our firm commitment to the promotion and maintenance of international peace and security." Let me reiterate, the President said, this firm commitment to continue to contribute our fair share to maintaining world peace, end quote. As a member of the opposition party, I must comment that the President's assertions at the world body do not match his actions at home. Our President is a very divisive figure in the stewardship of his own country. How can he bring peace and cohesion to the world or trumpet a message of peace when he cannot maintain peace and harmony in his own country? It all sounds bizarre to me. President Bio's government is notorious for being ethnocentric and tribalistic in assigning roles and responsibilities to other citizens in the governance of their own country. The majority of persons in Sierra Leone's public service who do not hail from the President's tribe or ethnic group or region are prohibited from serving in his administration. How is this harmonious or cohesive? Continuing on the subject of Africa's inclusion in global security apparatus, the President urged world leaders to reform the United Nations Security Council as a matter of priority and urgency, because, according to him, reforms will address the long-standing injustice and imbalance in the present configuration of the UN Security Council. But Mr. President, before you call on the UN to address issues of injustice and imbalance, how about you start to address issues of injustice and imbalance in your own country and government? After all, charity begins at home. Only recently, your government engaged in a sustained campaign of violence, political intimidation, and exclusion of other political actors in Sierra Leone. There is more injustice and imbalance under your watch than any other time in our country's history. Fellow citizens, in continuing his address, the President spoke to the United Nations about the need to promote national dialogue and reconciliation. The President stated inter alia that, and I quote, "Sierra Leone has pursued country-led peace and resilience through national dialogue and reconciliation. We recently concluded a broad-based national consultative conference, B23, where a nationally representative body resolved to establish a permanent and independent national commission for peace and cohesion. We do so," the President said, mindful that peaceful coexistence and inclusive governance are prerequisites to our development." End quote. We in the All People's Congress remain troubled by the bona fides of the President's comments. His comments are simply devoid of veracity. The President is embellishing his record on cohesion and coexistence more than it actually is. The Bintumani 3 conference was not inclusive of the main opposition and largest political party in Sierra Leone, the All People's Congress, APC. Immediately preceding the so-called peace conference, this president's government unleashed security personnel to wreak havoc and mayhem in the headquarters of the All People's Congress Party. As the APC licked its wounds, the president hypocritically convened what looked like a peace conference, a facade at best, meritless and lacking of any meaningful theme geared toward peace and reconciliation. He himself, the chief architect of division and human rights abuses, spent less than an hour in a conference which lasted days and was convened by him. He was simply out of tune with his own creation, and he magically expects Sierra Leone to coalesce and unify as if it should happen by a mere stretch of his magic wand. During recent electoral canvassing, this president's government brought forth havoc and pandemonium at the headquarters of the All People's Congress Party, arresting and detaining several party executive members and stakeholders, among them Karamokaba, former mayor of Freetown, Herbert George Williams, and scores of other APC stalwarts. He had them detained for months under the most horrific of Parliament belonging to the All People's Congress, and unlawfully replaced them in Parliament with members of his own party, even though the matters were appealed. The courts could not even entertain a motion for a temporary injunction or grant one sua sponte as judicial ethics would dictate, so as to allow sanity, political sanity to prevail. All of these factors are orchestrated by President Bio's government as a subterfuge for electoral malpractice and vote rigging, ably assisted by an overzealous National Electoral Commissioner who is quite receptive of political manipulation and gamesmanship. Elections recently held in Tonko-Limba, Constituency 110, Falaba, Kuya, and other places around the country are marred by unprecedented violence perpetrated by the president's party stalwarts and operatives, ably supported by security forces under his control. The famous Arata, a Sierra Leone People's Party thug who perpetrated violence and horror on innocent civilians belonging to other political parties during the process, is not emblematic of a government that treats peace and cohesion seriously. On the issue of poverty reduction, the president told world leaders in his address, and I quote, "Development and priority eradication must be well planned, inclusive, and sustainable. It must transition our nation out of fragility." End quote. And I absolutely agree with the president. But this president's development agenda, ladies and gentlemen, is skewed. It is ill-informed and could hardly be described as inclusive in its outlook. The value of the Leone, our national currency, continues to plummet at an alarming rate. Desperate band-aid measures recently promulgated by Sierra Leone Central Bank have not been able to arrest the depreciation. The requisite foundation for economic stability has not been put in place by a very naive, inexperienced, clueless, and poorly trained economic team. Again, this president's development agenda is either ethnocentric, tribal, or regional in nature. For example, in May this year, when the president laid out his development priorities before the House of Parliament, he proposed building an information and communications technology institution in his home district of Banff at the cost of $18 million United States dollars. leaving other regions around the country untouched by such a critical development tool. As if that is not enough, he proposed building an ultra-modern hospital in Kenema, eastern Sierra Leone, in his backyard and the hometown of his chief minister. He proposed renovating 4 secondary schools at a whopping cost of $45 million United States dollars, including his own alma mater, the Bow School, and Bulubu Teachers College, both in the southeastern region of Sierra Leone, shamelessly ignoring parochial and struggling schools in other parts of the country, especially the north and the northwestern regions. The president selected only the best schools, shockingly failing to lift those institutions and schools which needed the most help. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens, how can this be called national development? The best we can describe this is that it is parochial development, not national. The president told the United Nations that his government is, and I quote, open to partnerships, open to collaboration, open to ideas about how to continue improving the quality of life for the average Sierra Leonean, end quote. Fellow citizens, ladies and gentlemen, these statements are nothing but fluff and empty rhetoric. The evidence on the ground does not suggest that President Bio's government is open to collaboration and or cooperation from any faction that is not a part of his political party, his tribe, region, or ethnic establishment. His free education program is a colossal failure since its inception over a year ago. Just a few months ago, 90+% of Sierra Leone school children failed the West African University entrance examination in an abysmal manner under his watch. Needless to say that his free education program was poorly thought out since its initiation. Unlike what he promised to the people of Sierra Leone, children still go to school hungry. There are still not enough textbooks, desks, chairs, other learning materials, habitable school buildings. Teachers are perhaps more poorly paid and trained than ever before. Teacher training colleges are more moribund, dilapidated, and are not up to par with expectations. Fellow citizens, Sierra Leone's teacher training system is in a near state of collapse. School curricula has not been revised to reflect our core development priorities. Vocational and technical education has not taken off. And so the majority of our youths are still lacking in terms of modern technological skills. Talking about youths, in his address to the world body, the president said, and I quote, "The threat of inequality, lack of opportunity, and exclusion of our youth still persists. The anxiety over growing youth population in Africa is complicated by increased poverty indicators, youth exclusion, perilous migration across the Mediterranean, transnational organized crime, terrorism, and violent extremism, and greater regional and national security threats," end quote. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow citizens, I subscribe to the president's views, but the degree of my subscription stops right here. President Bio told world leaders that his government is addressing youth issues through financial and social inclusion programs, skills training, and farming initiatives. Let us review the evidence thus far. Under his watch, Sierra Leone has witnessed the highest rate of youth unemployment in history. Under this president's watch, Sierra Leone youths have performed the worst in sub-regional public examinations in modern history. Under his watch, Sierra Leone has witnessed the most egregious violation of human and civic rights involving youths. More young people have been killed, maimed, drugged, sexually abused, illegally imprisoned, and brutalized under this regime than any other period in our country's history. And it's just been a year since the regime took over the reins of government. Our youths are still without basic technical and vocational skills, so they are not marketable around the world. Before talking about unfolding a global digital economy, this president must first start.
All right, sir. So I think say no, we hold on to that first, and also if you don't make clarity, say indeed that is your voice, and I sure say you can recall some of your submission on that audio, sir. Correct?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So now we revisit back that audio for that Mamina Tumbo for understand step by step. I get a last part of that, but I've been just one pause because it's a bit lengthy. The one we left in not much per se. So I know say you on several occasions you commend the president. Then furthermore, you bring some critical concerns them where you believe say and not necessarily match the speech where it come do na United Nations versus waiting really been go on at the ground. So from that time to now, do you see any improvement? If not, what is some of still of the areas then where you get concerned with? If there were any improvement, what are those areas of improvement from your own perspective? Come back in, sir.
Well, yes, that time they said the president called the United Nations. In the time the United Nations of the Africa sitting at the UN Security Council because Africa therefore play their own role for bringing about peace. So what they try to say is good message. I like what the president they say. It's about time Africa, the economic power where Africa they become. But what they try to say, charity begins at home. If you say Africa will play their role for bring about world peace and stop terrorism, and for help the world for unify, or you get for bring peace and unity in your own country first. That is for start. You don't go pull somebody because in common at the north or northwest, and then you replace her with somebody who come at the south or southeast, regardless of the credentials. If the person will come on at the north or northwest get the credentials, you just put the other person because he come on at your region. I mean that one they not to await that for bring about unity. Secondly, we call a national consultative conference where I criticize them for saying when you call a conference of national unity, first of all you don't include the largest political party whether at the opposition or whether the APC, they don't play a meaningful role. Secondly, as father of the nation, if you call a consultative conference for bring peace, you yourself again for daily. But they go give a speech for 1 hour, then you command not a consultative conference, they bring peace in the country. Now that's what they try for. So you need to take steps for let peace come. How you they treat other people when not like you, when not they talk the language where you they talk, when not belong to the same political party, now you will determine whether them people then they will be comfortable with you. Listen, I feel like this is a listening president. I criticize him in good faith, and I think he did listen small. It temper small the things that will happen. However, make I just say this. More recently, I see a derailment of some of the things where they talk about today for say you need for bring cohesion and unity around the country by unnecessarily targeting people away come on at the north with APC, especially within commission, so with some of the cases that will happen. So all the things that they bring about this unity. So when we did that that time they try for say the president need for take more steps, he need for do more for unite the Mende, the Timine, the Liba, the Local, for unite the APC with the SLPP, the NGC with the PMDC because we all now one. So that's how they try for say.
So any chance for any improvement based on your submission at that audio day?
Yes. There are opportunities for their improvements a day, and I think I see a way of hope now. So waiting to be mentioned just about waiting happen when the ACC go interview President Koma. It wasn't the most perfect of sittings, but number one, I appreciate the fact that they give the respect with you and for say we will go interview you now you home. That I see that as an overture toward peace. And then secondly, the incident will happen. The people them in their excitement block the way for go toward the ex-president in house, and then the government exercise maximum restraint, they return back and then try for renegotiate and bring about a more peaceful way for let them interview the ex-president. That sounds to me like listening. But you know what? just because that happened, no mean say cohesion don't begin come. Nasalo, which I want to see is President Bio bring more people that we belong to other political parties for let them do the work na you government like how President Kuruma be the do am. Musa Tarawali na una all be na SLPP, na be minister na APC. Sengu Kuruma na una run for be flag bearer na SLPP, na minister inside APC. Other people that we come on other political parties, more like Kai, they can't serve inside the APC. That is what we're talking about, inclusion. Now that I want for the key. So you get a lot of things where you need to do, a long way to go, but you don't begin to take baby steps toward that. I hope you keep that momentum.
Thank you, sir. So now we talk about human rights violation, and also simultaneously you being mentioned some concerns them on this audio where we just listened. You mentioned of Tombo, Tonko Limba, Koya, and constituency 110, and also specifically with Arata. Now we also simultaneously, like I say, talk about the other individual, the names that were you mentioned in the case of Mr. Darami, and I also want to add the list of retired Major Paulo Conte in incarceration. Waiting that you don't take on all that, and do you see any improvement in terms of human rights violation?
No, I don't. I actually see the government sliding down here. As far as human rights, intimidation, freedom of speech, and assembly, other things are concerned. Now, listen, if I talk about freedom of assembly, I'm not saying, especially when we get an emergency now for the corona, I know they say people left for the gap, then they go gather together, express you freedom of assembly and try to infect other people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, normal circumstances, government not supposed to crack down on people for letting them get up or let them try to do their campaigns, just like how we happen at constituency 110. We have family within our house. Most of them see the video, they tie that small bubble, with the beat them. I mean, the concern where I get now, so human rights abuse and violation of that nature happen. They beat that bubble. So this day, I still they look forward to the president launching some kind of investigation or somebody being held responsible for that body. They tie and they goat and they bleed. The government not say don't know. They kill somebody that talk only liver. Government not say anything. The issues they happen now to go. They kill the one that I'm killing. No investigation. Nobody has been held accountable. Nobody has been held responsible for the things that don't happen. Human rights violations, I do know for say in governance, sometimes rowdiness they happen. People that they go to the public that they cause certain things when they happen. But then also, if the other people come out, violate other person, the right, he beat and say he want for killer or he kill other person, part of the human rights thing, waiting will make the record look good is whether in fact you go after the perpetrator, that you hold them accountable. How you they go hold about George Williams, when not do that, you say you charge them with crime, you hold Abu Darami, but then when they tie up on a constituency 110, you don't do nothing. They kill the one and a crocodile liver, they're not even investigator. Then go na prison, then go kill people that day. That has not been investigated. They kill 5 people in Namakeni, that has not been investigated. Now only where the affect somebody who belong to your party or your tribe, and then you speak up. Well, that's a bad human rights record. I mean, I will refrain from making comments about Major Paulo Conte in case because it's subject to appeal, and then the court are no one for making any comments now. We will prejudice the progress of the case. I'm glad for say ordinary people in the country see the truth for which they actually be. When they accuse a lot of people, they be so quick for jump to judgment say Major Paulo Conte commits treason. He did not. He did not commit treason at all. But I'm glad for say sanity prevail. At the end of the day, now good citizen is serving country well. He do what he is supposed to do for case alone go before. So those are the comments I get for make about that.
I want to get one more question with Major Rita Paulo Conte. But before that, and I just want to give clarity to the audience. The young man where they refer to, they assume saying Mr. Ibrahim Conte will be involved during the APC assigned how you call them. Is it convention, not convention, what's in the appropriate word, where they assign them for them go out and basically campaign for their own political party. And they assume say they refer to Mr. Ibrahim Conte, correct? In the house.
I don't exactly, but I think that's a gentleman.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. So now I know say you know I'm go into the in total of the case of retired Major Paulo Conte, but obviously first they may accuse her of treason where you don't make clear, but in the case now where the it don't go down to not be that in that category, it don't obviously not in that category. Is it still legally correct? Like if he was in the state of United States, right, and you being a lawyer here, is would it have been where they for being given bail for go home compared to that of Sierra Leone?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. This is one of the situations. Possession of a firearm. I get cases like that right now as we speak, and you know, my clients are on bail. Possession of a firearm is possession of a firearm. They're not accused and say he used the firearm against anybody, you don't injure anybody, you don't intimidate nobody, not threaten anybody. That's a bailable offense. I don't see there shouldn't be any presumption against bail in this case. But you know, that's me. That's my opinion, and you know,
Okay.
it is.
Okay. Sorry, sir. Go ahead. Land.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Okay, it is what it is indeed. So in the case, is it because we want to get clarity here? Okay, I did look and say within America, let's say in that case, in the case of like you clients them where you they represent, would it be against them human rights if they still hold them of something where they don't clear say they were not guilty of?
Yeah, if a jury don't come to the conclusion, say you not commit any crime, you should let him go. Um, I believe say another thing where I've been looked into also is that retired Major Paulo Conte, the jury find him guilty of possessing a firearm. Some say unlicensed, but I'm not going to go into the details of that. But I'm just saying, you know, since today on appeal, this is one of the situations that where they grant him bail. But even if that's not the case, let's say they find him guilty. Now, America now, a first-time offender, like that's where they don't ever find guilty of any crime. Now, the perfect case this way you go and easily give a suspended sentence. Say, all right, we'll put you on probation for 1 year or 2 years, not commit any more crime. You go, they can report every 1 month for being sure you don't do anything. And this gun, you're supposed to go license the gun and bring the license now for proof say you don't license the gun, and we'll let you go. I think that would be an appropriate thing. But to keep somebody a first-time offender for a minor offense as possessing a weapon without a license, and he say you get a license, he provide the license, and they say the license it probably expired, to keep him in prison for that. I mean that's kind of overkill.
Thank you, sir. Let me talk a little bit about the seditious libel law, 1965 law, where recently many Sierra Leoneans, they jubilate, they celebrate, say they don't remove this part of the law, and some they say that not necessarily the case. Now fast forward a little bit, wherein we'll get a statement from where the Speaker of Parliament making strong statements saying that we suggest some form of threat to Sierra Leonean who dare to condemn the government will go be placed in a category of treason. What's your take on that?
That's bizarre. You know, somebody, you know, I want to let the speaker listen to this. You know, good luck. In a democracy, criticizing the government is part of democracy. Mr. Speaker, just, you know, get used to it. You lived in England for a very long time. You should understand this. It's not rocket science. You know, now so no more democracy they operate. Democracy is a very annoying thing, but then it's very beneficial. It helps to make us all good people. It helps for law become tolerant, for law become understanding. Now we will appreciate each other. Just because somebody criticizes the government does not mean they want to overthrow the government. I mean, criticizing the government and overthrowing the government, two different things. How you would threaten somebody with treason because he criticizes the government? Come on. I mean, that's preposterous. I don't really see any sense in that. Matter of fact, let me tell you, you know, in governance, person where they come out and criticize you and tell you who say they do wrong, that's a good person for you. It don't help you for govern well. I think the speaker and other people there for spend time for listening to people the way they criticize. It might help you guys be better leaders.
Excellent. How do they learn? How you advise them for learn from constructive criticism, and at the same time you talk about tolerance, and without them being abusing their power. And the last part of it is that they can say when you know better, you do better. In the example of you yourself, you don't come at this country at a very young age. You don't get the God don't bless you with the opportunity where you don't go to the level where you're there as barrister. You don't learn a lot of things then at the United States. With the hope that when if God bless you for someday be one of we leader in Sierra Leone, we don't already assume say you don't already there in the category of knowing better, and as a result you for do better by Sierra Leonean. So why is it that we they get kind of issue in the example of the Speaker of Parliament wherein it don't live in the United Kingdom, obviously know how the law supposed to go. So when we they see things like that, what do you think saying that the problem is it again because the branches they allow the judiciary to do by itself, the legislative to do by itself, but rather the executive overshadow all? What thing you take, sir?
So the very last point we raise is it's exactly the big problem. Executive overshadowing everything and trying to compel the other organs of government for work subject to the dictates of the executive, which is very unfortunate. When you try to bring other organs of government or succumb to the dictates of the executive, what happens is you make bad decisions, they can't even tell you you're making bad decisions. You make mistakes, they're not able to tell you, they can't correct you. Right? So it's not even a good idea. So also the other thing is, I mean personally just feel I mean, get used to it. I understand in governance, if you're not able to tolerate being criticized, don't get yourself into governance. Go sit down and retire. But if you get yourself into governance, don't try can develop some kind of oligarchy, some kind of a bully pulpit, if you will. For say you bully every citizen because you want your way. Now, one of the reasons what we see they happen in our country, the way they make political tolerance is a lot of ego. And people then they assume, arrogate to themselves powers where they don't actually get, and because of the ego, then they don't want to see any other person where they talk, where him talk. Well, one party state maybe, but in a democracy, I think more people therefore talk. Ultimately, the big man make the decision. So to the government and the leaders, the parliament, judiciary, the president, I think we need to try for now shed the ego. Now we put the ego aside, we put the interest of the country before. It will make it very easy.
Sir, when we talk about integrity and holding oneself accountable, let's say it is obvious that the executive body, they basically overshadow all the other branches them. But when you're talking about holding oneself accountable and integrity, you a person, an individual also gets responsibility to oneself. Wherein in the example of Honorable Tawa, Honorable Jivaro, where they say they speak truth to power. So if even you're given this position and say you're not able to work in that capacity or to serve the masses because of pressure from your boss, do you not believe that the right thing to do by Sierra Leone or Sierra Leoneans them is to basically give up the position as that in the example of Honorable Tawa? What's in your take?
Think about Martin Luther, the old one, not so Martin Luther King, waiting is say, and waiting a lot of we Christian brothers, and they say, what does it benefit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? You want to hold positions at the world, so you will boost your ego, everybody they praise you, everybody they clap for you, but they do the right thing. I commend them. That's exactly what it should be. First of all, in governance, if you really want to do very well, stop surrounding yourself with yes men. It's not good for you. You need people the way they're able to challenge you, people the way critical of you, critical thinkers, not in a disrespectful way, but people the way able to look you in the eye and say, "Pa, nothing say that the way you want to go so that good road." That one day na go able make we country go before. I mean, people they like that one that they were able to sit on a parliament there, do a self-critique, look themselves and say, I don't think say this role I go able to perform na this role, or I not able to work with this leader the way I see so, because me own ideas and your own ideas no look like them they gel very well. Therefore, are they left? it boosts you integrity, and it kind of give we some hope for say with democracy the function the way it's supposed to be.
The very second to last question, when we talk about selective justice or double standard, many Sierra Leoneans will still question the fact that we current Speaker of Parliament was once found guilty of crime having to do with passport, where ever, from me understanding from research, ever pay back or live up to expectation in terms of the fine we're supposed for pay back to Sierra Leone. So when it in that category how can he also hold other people accountable? What's in your take on that?
Well, as a nation, I get to say it's our fault collectively. All of us, we have run our country this way. Unfortunately, the stewardship we don't get over the years, we shy away from holding each other accountable. If I pick on this issue, I'm going to be very unfair to him because not to just him. So a lot of people within our country, we don't get away with stuff like that, and the legal system not even hold them accountable. They look the other way. So if I just pick on, even though in your position pretty prominent, you would say you ought to know better, but these selfish beings, we God make we will be. Don't expect the speaker to try to punish himself. Somebody should have done it, but nobody did it, unfortunately. So we did what we did. So
thank you, sir. Thank you. Before we go, I want make you take this opportunity for speak to the youth of Sierra Leone and Sierra Leone as a whole. What thing will be that advice we go get to the youth of Sierra Leone and Sierra Leone as a whole?
The future belongs to you. Now gonna be the future of we country. We country depend on una. Every country around the world now depend on the young population. I want una the young people the way they listen to me spend una time doing beneficial things where not only they benefit you personally, it will benefit your family, benefit your community, it will benefit your country. Engage yourself in something meaningful. Una we want go school, go to school. You will want for land trade, go land trade. Spend some time. This time we will get to this young years we will get. Now the best time this we will get for catch up na the world. We age catch up with you. A lot of things that they were able to do as a young person, you know, go able for do them. So spend your time wisely. Please, are the advice on all. Not try to engage yourself in unnecessary confrontations. Avoid violence. Avoid to put yourself in a situation of danger because we need una the young people. We need una, we want for groom una, for let una take over from we. After we own time pass now, una own turn will come. We value una. We want to do everything possible for them to make una the most prepared, the most educated, the most skilled young people in the world. Now that message I get for young people.
What do you hope to see from the white paper? Whether it's something differently or you hope sit and go handle differently, what's in you hope for the white paper as a whole? If there's
I hope first of all the Court of Appeals will do the right thing. Follow due process and do within the law actually say. And I also hope the Supreme Court will follow suit. This is not about waiting at the courts. This is not about you. This is about your country. You get to do something where you will left a legacy now your country. So people when they can 100 years from now will know say you do something way right for your country, where carry your country go before.
What's your hope for Sierra Leone? The last question, sir.
Sierra Leone, they march forward. I am hoping and I see the vision that in the next 50 years, I'll be done say this by the time it will be 5 more decades, Sierra Leone will actually surpass Dubai. Sierra Leone could be the best country in the world. Most educated people. We get all the resources for able to do that, and my vision is I see that happening, and it's going to happen.
Thank you, sir. I want to take this opportunity for allow you for say your last word before I give a closing statement.
Family where they listen. I want, regardless of everything what they say now, so we all they talk about unity now we country. Now unity not a one-way street. So if they say we need cohesion and unity, we don't want only say okay we want unity for let it come from President Bio, the Chief Minister and President Bio in government. We self get responsibility for let we bring about unity. something where you know say they divide the country, you self not push am for let the country continue for divide. And we are continue for try for collaborate, now work together. We all now one family, brothers and sisters as Sierra Leoneans. Let we try for work together for the good of the country. Do ya. I said this afternoon. Not to everything now na politics. Who side for pin the water self and the brain. It depends on which political party you belong. Let we try to put down the aside for the time being. Let we put the interest of Mama Salon before, so we country go before we all will be proud of the country we get. I mean, last minute now.
On behalf of the entire team here in Salon for All and Voice for All Network Television, I want to take this opportunity to tell you plenty thank you where you take time out of your busy schedule for joining with today, sir. And we also wish you nothing but the absolute best in all your future endeavor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. But they take a quick break and they come back again and give me last closing statement before we call it quit. Thank you, guys.
Slim Nation. Love is what we need, yeah. Sierra Leoneans. Love is what we need. We exalt the realm of the free. Great is a love we have for thee, yeah. Anytime they talk about Switzerland, no. About anytime they write about Mama Salon, yeah. Now we fall like we self, let we push we self. Let we know it we self, let we help we self. Oh no. It no matter who say you there. It no matter what you know you call. It no matter what you think of.
Now welcome back. I want to take this opportunity once again for tell Barrister Lawyer Kalokoh plenty thank you for in time today where you join away. And then also I want to take this opportunity for telling our all plenty thanking at the audience. We chat to them. Unfortunately I'm not able for read through the messages and today, and I apologize, as in I know when we get exclusive interview I'm not able to go through the comments them, but I do want you guys to know that you are equally important. And I thank you for all that they do after God and I make this platform. Thank you all for the endless support, and as always always remember within bind we together. We're not the green, white and blue, irrespective of your political affiliation. Invitation is sent out to all Sierra Leoneans, irrespective of your political affiliation, and anyone we decide for honor it, we will be more than happy to have you here for that you answer critical questions them having to do with the development of we beloved Salon and for Sierra Leone as a whole. And I thank you once again, and God bless the Republic of Sierra Leone. God bless the Republic of Sierra Leone. God bless the Republic of Sierra Leone. God bless the United States of America. God bless United Kingdom. And the list goes on. And everywhere where Sierra Leoneans find themselves, we get a heated debate tomorrow. A very critical topic having to do with we they here Sierra Leoneans in the United States. You cannot miss. As soon as I done, they make sure say I send out the flyer. Please be part of that discussion because it has everything to do with we life and that of we picking in life. And I once again thank you. Until next time, this is Salon for All and Voice for All Network Television. I am your host Khadija Tijan Nabi. Bye.
Slim Nation. Love is what we need, yeah. Sierra Leoneans. Love is what we need. We exalt the realm of the free. Great is a love we have for thee, yeah. Anytime they talk about Switzerland, no. About anytime they write about Mama Salon, yeah. Now we fall like we self, let we push we self. Let we know it we self, let we help we self. Oh no. It no matter who say you there. It no matter what you know you call. It no matter what you think of. There is no place like home. It no matter who say you there. It no matter what you know you call. It no matter what you think of. There is no place like home. Mama, let we left color and push forward. This gonna make we continue move forward. Oh. Papa make we left color and push forward. It gon' make we country move forward. No. Now we party talk about new direction. Do ya make we up and build ambition? Because now we all get for make we home. Hey, we sweet mama salo. Never say you not be sinner. Never say you not care there. Oh, yeah. See that love, yeah. No matter how far you go, you must come home one day. No matter how long you take, you must come home one day. It no matter who say you there, it no matter what you know you gonna, it no matter what you think of, there is no place like home. It no matter who say you there, it no matter what you know you gonna, it no matter what you think of, there is no place like home. Love is what we need, yeah. Brother, love is what we need, yeah. Love is what we need, yeah. Love is what we need, yeah. But that's not the thing we don't spoil we, yeah. Don't divide we, don't destroy we, hey mama, yeah. But that's not the thing we don't spoil we, don't destroy we, yeah. Don't divide we, yeah. Let we push we say, let we let we say, oh.